Well, me and the Lord, we got an understanding. We're on a mission from God.
And all I have to say is, drizzle, drizzle.
Cursed be the ground for our sake. Both thorns and thistles it shall bring forth for us. For out of the ground we were taken, for the dust we are. And to the dust we shall return.
Guys, the bottom line is this. BGS is right.
All right, good people. All right, good people. This is your Random Ass Friday, okay? This is your host speaking. So whatever random ass questions that you guys have been saving up, this is the time. Adric is batting first. Snowman batting second in the lineup. Snowman, Angel Reese. that one little sequence sums up her whole WNBA career, does it not? Martin Muhammad, batting third. Okay. Cleanup spot is AB Media. Instant Media batting cleanup. Okay. Green Gooner, what's happening? Quentin, what's happening? My thoughts on AB Reeves' last game. It basically it's sad that it would come to that, man. Maybe she'll get her ass in the gym after being embarrassed like this. But the thing is, all the other stuff, all the other crap about her being in Caitlin Clark's league and all that kind of stuff, that's gonna go away. Devon, what's going on? Micah L, what's happening? Tether Bitcoin, greetings. Okay. BTC's up again. All right, cool. Make that money. Charles, what's happening? The Frozen Order. My emotions are frozen in ice. Okay. Chance, what's going on? Johnny, what's happening? Yeah, Turtle Bitcoin. With all this disruption, I'm not surprised that Bitcoin's up. Okay, especially with all this tariff mess that's going on. Captain Obvious, what's going on? Love Gun, what's happening? I said this is for the brothers who aren't here to see the fruits of their work prosper. Okay, cool. Hurricane Greg, what's happening? Kevin, Luther, what's going on? Bruce on Wayne, what's going on? Que paso? Prince, what's happening? DJ Scan, what's going on? Tao? Paul, what's happening? Good to catch you live. We'll get back to the Crimson Cure along with the replay gang. Okay. Oh, she's on now? Okay, cool. Tunnel Runner, what's happening? Big Trick. Clark, what's happening? Forever Blessed. Mr. G1, what's going on? I wonder what your thought is on Cassie in particular and the Diddy trial in general. Okay. My thoughts on the Diddy trial, basically, one, he should have paid the girl off a long time ago before this scandal broke open. Two, Diddy should have been on the same island as Russell Simmons, okay? Should have just bounced because you knew this shit was going to come eventually, okay? The reason the feds are involved is because there's probably an ulterior motive why he's getting prosecuted. This is just the surface reason. I'm sure there's a deeper reason because he had a whole lot of influence at those parties, and a whole bunch of people were at those parties with names that are public. And if those files ever get out, there's going to be a whole lot of people that have to come to account. So basically, that's like when they came in and raided all his house. They took all his files, all his videos, okay, so that he can't blackmail anybody. That's my opinion about Diddy trial. The Diddy trial is not about what he did to that girl. Diddy trial is about all the other stuff. And the Papoose and Remy Ma, I don't even follow Remy Ma and Papoose. Okay, I don't. Dark Knight, what's going on? We just at the point. Do you see no? There's no need for a Chinese invasion of Taiwan unless the United States starts pulling like missiles or something on Taiwan. Then you'll see that. Other than that, no. There's no reason. No reason. China owns the whole world. Why would they? Uh, I bet Clarence is not going to show up for what? Why would he show up? Did you guys invite him or something? Greg, what's up? XLM for the win. Okay. Mr. Donnie Mac, any thoughts on Andor season 2? I have not even watched. I only watched maybe 30 minutes so far. So, but Andor is always well written, and what I heard this season is probably no different. It's going to be hard to top the first season. I would say that. Very difficult to top that first season. The first season is classic. So, what's up with them pennies? Okay, I have no idea what that is. Johnny, what's happening? Okay. W. Brizzle. Did President Ramaphosa teach Trump a lesson in diplomacy? No. He should have. He should have not even basically. Basically, what he should have done is just ignored it. Okay, because it's a nothing burger. And so for him to get mixed, I don't know why he got mixed up in this. I guess he did it for worldwide recognition. I guess that's the only reason because very few people actually know who he is. Now everybody knows who he is. But the thing is that um, there's no reason for him to get mixed up in this clown show because it was based on nothing. Okay, even Afrikaners say it was based on nothing. So why would you get involved in the circus unless you want recognition? So for him, it's probably a good deal because his name gets out there. Good Friday. What's going on, Willie R? What's up, Doc? Kirk, what's going on? I said, be just remember, what makes it worse for Angelisa is the fact that she's already peaked or the fact that she doesn't realize it. If she hasn't peaked, the thing is that she's lazy, okay? And basically what you do in the gym shows up when you get on the court, okay? And she hasn't worked on the game. I don't think she's interested in playing basketball. You can tell she's not. Basketball is just something she does for attention. All the high profile cases involving problem black men. Do you believe any of the women involved? I believe what Cassie is saying. Okay, that's been proven that what Cassie's saying is true. The other chicks, no. Michael, what's going on? Mike, what's up? Forever blessed. What's happening? Allegation of China mining helium on the moon. True or no? I don't know. Also, helium-3 is truly the game changer for quantum computing. The thing is, how do you get the shit back? Trying to mine helium-3 on the moon is only good if you can actually process it there. Trying to ship it back is too expensive. What's up? Said, did you catch Ryan Clark walking back his comments after saying he never included his wife? He admitted that's what he did by bringing her up. Now his supporters are mad at him. Well, of course they are, because he's a hypocrite. And you got to remember, Ryan Clark, a lot of his followers are white men, okay? In sports, you get that bigger following because you have white men. For him to go pro-black all of a sudden is a mistake, okay? He should stick to sports and not to politics, okay? If I was him. Clark, what's going on? He's saluting Dr. Thunder, okay? Andor season 2 is better than season 1. I don't know. Okay, I haven't seen it, so I can't really comment on it. I said, join the Panda Bears. Angel will be better than CC. Panda Man, what's up? Shark Sims, what's going on? Andor season 2 was fire. I'm sure they have good writers, so I have no reason to think that it wouldn't be. It's kind of hard to follow up on season 1, okay? Emmanuel, what's going on? Your thoughts on Democrats covering up Joe Biden's stage 4 cancer? Cancer is a private matter, so them covering up doesn't bother me. His dementia is what bothers me. Okay. Appreciate you, MS Delta. There's my spook that sits by the door. And what do you think this what do you think about the April jobs claims, man? It said 300,000 black women. Well, I actually looked at the BLS. Since the beginning of the year, black women did lose 300,000 jobs. So, uh, how's that affecting what you do? Why does Papoose act like hyper aggressive women? Because that's who he's raised by. Mr. Supreme, Good Friday. Appreciate you. Lindsey Graham's 500% secondary tariffs is hilarious. Yeah, man, that's just a threat, man. No, that's not going to go through. Because all his donors would abandon him if he did some dumb shit like that. Do you agree with Dr. Neal's idea that black women are being positioned to be fall girls for the social decline of the West? Do I agree with it? Mm, if they want to stand in, if they want to take the blame, the white women would love to do it. But the thing is, I don't think they will. I don't think they can. South Africa has an open case in the ICJ on Israel. Yeah, they do, but that doesn't mean anything. A whole lot of people have an open case against Israel. She's interested in basketball. OnlyFans. Yeah, she would. She probably is. That's probably where she's headed, to OnlyFans. I'll say, turn around and say, I'm in Guatemala having fun with my wife. Guatemala's nice, man. But it's after. Is it Holy Week? No, Holy Week was last month. Um, but I see what you said. It's slow for us, but cool. Yeah. Well, compared to Colombia, it's slow. Yeah. But that's what it's there for. But it's much safer than Colombia. My question is that with the decline of U.S. basically guaranteed, with it being the finance capital, could trading like futures be a thing anymore? Or is it just still going to be stay in our lifetime? There's always going to be trades. It's somebody else will do it. That's all. There's always going to be a way to trade. Just somebody else will do it. I was asking why the stop in production of the penny. Oh, because the pennies cost almost 4 cents to make. That's why. It's not cost effective. But they said that years ago. We could question what parts of America do you think will take the least hit economically when Massa decides to crack down? Ooh, that's a good question. That is a damn good question because it's going to be really uneven. I would say, that's a good question. I don't know. Well, Washington D.C. is automatically okay, and the DMV area is probably going to take the least hits. But the crackdowns, that's a good question. Um, I would say places you really don't depend on. I would say Texas is probably because Texas doesn't depend on it as much. Places like Utah, um, maybe places like Colorado that are sparsely populated that really don't depend much on it. Uh, but everybody's going to get hit, but there's going to be less. So the smaller states are going to get hit less because there's less people. He was asking your thoughts if we should do away with the pennies like Australia. Yeah, but the thing is, doing away with the pennies, that's probably going to be social pressure. People like their pennies, so they probably will go ahead and eat the cost. But the thing is, it hasn't been cost effective for like the last 20 years. They cost more to make than what they're worth. The copper costs alone are worth more than what the penny's worth, so they probably will round it up. Trump really gave Julius Malema a great exposure. He actually made Malema more popular globally inadvertently. MAGA folks getting lit up on TikTok trying to crap him. Yeah. So in that case, yeah, he'd get you exposure because nobody knew who the hell he was. Because I had to look him up because I didn't even know because because Malema actually gets more exposure than Ramaphosa does. So, but thing is, that's good exposure for him. So that's probably why he did it, because nothing's going to change. I mean, Southern Africa is firmly in the hands of the BRICS. So. Good job by Indiana to win that game in overtime. 'Cause I thought they were dead. Um, Salute. Bitcoin went up again. What's the reason behind the surge, and how could you have anticipated? Basically, anytime there's a disruption in the currency, okay, it's a flight to safety, just like gold. Okay, when you saw gold go up, you knew Bitcoin's probably going to follow. We got rid of the pennies in Canada too. Yeah, they're expensive to make. That's probably why. What's up, Barry? Would you address the Angel Reese situation or ongoing dialogue with my writing on black female victimization? Um, I mean, basically, it's, uh, um, I don't. If I have it, if I could find it, I might be able to find it. Master, y'all talking about women, black women having being emotionally masochistic. I actually did a whole series on black women's emotional masochism. Okay, and them wanting to see themselves as victims. And you probably can just type it in, okay? Victimization of black women, and that narrative, the color purple narrative, all that kind of stuff, right? They want to see themselves as victims. So, I mean, there's plenty of stuff on it. So, uh, if you want to do it thoroughly, it's going to take you a while because there's a lot of material on it. What do you think is going to happen to the hood ghetto element of the black community over the next 50 years? It's going to get absorbed. Do you think the original plan was to wedge Kamala Harris in as president if Joe had ran and won? Do you think okay. The thing is, because of the neocons didn't finish their agenda, okay, they needed Joe to stay in place, but Joe physically could not do it anymore. So the second to fall back was Kamala, because Kamala would have continued to keep in place the team that was actually running the Ukrainian thing and the Israel thing, amongst other things, right? The fallback would have to keep Joe's um, uh, uh, policies in place. That's how come she was the fallback. Nobody believed that she could win, but they had no choice. If you read the book, the fight, they go through all of that, man. So all the stuff that we thought about Kamala Harris, nobody thought she could win. Okay, and the reason, so they tried to brainwash us into believing that she was a proper candidate when she wasn't, because nobody believed it. Hell, they had to do a whole campaign to believe to convince the Democratic Congress that she could win. Did you get a chance to see the video about the lady finding out her mom lied about who her dad was to ancestry test? No, I haven't seen that one. That's very common, though. I said you should go back. I'm sure your Chapina misses you. I didn't get one of them, man. Well, not I didn't go down there to get any entanglements. Okay, so what I did get was just one shot, one and done. Okay, as Toya with the winter time. Uh, it, it's sad to see black women lose jobs. However, a lot of paper pushing can be automated with AI and streamlined. Yeah, I've been saying that for years. Okay, in fact, I have an old video I actually talked about that. I mean, I'm probably going to have to. I'm gonna put it up on my Black Pill Gnostic page, where I actually talked about it. It's in 2018 about how automation was actually going to take black women's jobs, and we had this big fight. Okay, that is, I said, Skrilla, Skrilla is going nowhere. The supreme underclass will likely expand. Dr. Claudence and warn black folks we too hard. They have to absorb us. They have no choice but to absorb us. Okay. Otherwise, you don't want a permanent underclass that's going to keep causing you disruptions. Okay. Um, so but you already basically you've already been flooded in with a lot of Latinos and Latinas already. So you eventually you're going to pair off and you're going to get absorbed. It just takes a while. You're going to be like the American Indian. Supreme Pivot, what's going on? Big Trick said, no one needs the government to make more pennies. LOL. I got $300 worth of pennies in 2 jars. Just bring the change so they don't round up the price. Um, basically, what they want to prevent people from doing is taking the pennies and getting them melted down, because you're actually gonna make more money getting the pennies melted down. It's good to collect pennies from the 1980s and earlier. That's when they used to make uh, they used the most copper. True. I still believe in what the frozen order. Trump is proposing a 30% cut to SNAP benefits in the new tax bill. Yeah, yeah. That you know it's coming. Basically, they all want to do the same. Basically Obama expanded SNAP, and what they want to do is bring SNAP back to pre-Obama era. If one is new to stocks and trading, would you recommend starting an amount for average 70K worker? Okay, if you're gonna trade, okay, everybody says you need to paper trade. In other words, uh, uh, don't put any money in, but trade like you. There's all kind of programs where you can actually paper trade. Okay, use fake money and to test out your strategies before you actually spend $1 on a trade. Okay, at least 6 months. Learn your craft first. Okay, you can't treat it like Las Vegas. You got to treat it with some respect. Learn your craft first, and then before you put $1 in. Okay. Yes, you can type in paper trading on YouTube or paper trading into Google. All these resources will come up because hell, I did it 35 years ago. Uh, 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 uh. Pre-1980 independence worth more than 1 cent in copper. May be worth saving them all in a jar. I got tons of them in a jar. Okay, you're gonna. If I can get the channel 1,000 subs, I will air it there exclusively. Okay. And what basically, you got to make this Caitlin Clark money, Snowman. Remember, BGS, they said find their femininity through their victimization. Go back and watch that vid. Okay. It's black women and black women and black men and their association with white women go way back. Okay. Black white women been telling black women that they were victims way back in 1850. What's going on, Al? Spain man? BTS, if you were a relatively successful man in the United States in a tier one city in your early 40s, would you have kids today? Would you get married? Okay. If I didn't have, because I had my kids started having kids in my 20s, so would I have kids today? Would I get married? Um, if I had money in a tier one city, depends on what job I have. If I were to do it today, um, say if I was in Miami, I wouldn't have kids in the United States at all. Okay, I go to Dominican Republic. I set up a family. I have my kids. Okay, and that's where my kids would be, and that will never bring them back to the states. Okay, I'd never bring them back to the states. My kids would be in another on an island an hour away. It just depends. Depends. Okay, but if you want to raise your kids in your household, that kind of stuff, then that's the only way to do it. Especially, but I would make sure that the mother is on the same page as I am. Especially to everyone doing the Black Wizard, Intragrove Negro type work, keeping here on the eye of Sauron. I said, let me rephrase, how is the protection of angel reached by media an example of black? Okay. Most of these people that are on Angel Reese's bandwagon have no clue, have never watched the WNBA before. Okay, they don't even follow basketball. Okay, all they know is that a white girl is getting shine and a black girl isn't. And are there some people that take exception of white fans that take exception to black women or black people going up against their sainted Caitlin Clark? Yes, that is a fact. The thing is, to try to stretch it into a political a race or political idea from a sports interaction, okay, that's gone way too far. Okay, that is an example of black female victimization, and try to insist that black men read the room and support Angel Reese, even though she's not a good basketball player, is because she's a black player, and it's all this white girls getting shine when there's nothing. I mean, do me nothing to do with it. In fact, I accuse the WNBA of fueling this because it gets more eyeballs and more attention. Okay, WNBA is complicit in this, and black women are actually suckers for falling into it. And Snowman will probably, because me and Snowman said the same thing. The way for the WNBA to make money is closed in drama. Okay, and it's no bigger drama than Caitlin Clark and race. Even what's her name Atlanta that they got into it. That's gonna be the next one. Okay, how do Mexican men feel about black men dating Mexican women in California? They're used to it now because you live in the same neighborhoods, you go to the same schools. Okay, they used to be very defensive about it, but the thing is, the Latinos told them uh, to stand down and stand back. Okay, in other words, shut the fuck up. The Latinos have told the Mexican guys, the Latino guys, to shut the fuck up. Okay, we dating them. Okay, so they don't like it, but they're getting used to it. Do you think the absorbing of the hood ghetto element of black people has a connection to the black fatigue narrative? Um, I think the black fatigue narrative is more political than anything else. Okay, it's something I think is more made up by the politicians than it is by us personally. Man is far better off to just buy gold and silver coins. It's inevitable that some sort of precious metal currency peg is coming back. The U.S. has already been downgraded by Fitch in 2023. Now Moody. Sweet baby, is there a remote job? BGS would recommend a chat. I'll get whatever certificate of education and want to move to Columbia. Fuck the plantation bullshit. Okay, that's where you need to talk to Theo. Why are white men obsessed with black homosexuals? I understand them trying to make your opponent seem weak, but their obsession with black, I don't know. Okay. Black men, white men have always been sexually attracted to black males, going back to slavery. Okay, they've always been, so that's nothing new. Let me rephrase it. Is this protection by the media over correction towards the Indiana fan? Example, what it is. It's all part of the same narrative, the victim narrative. Okay, they're trying to make Angel Reese a victim. How relevant are the AI ethics and accessibility in tech during this AI race? Um, I see it as a slippery slope. You got to remember, this is just getting started. Okay, and it only takes one mistake. I got CC tomorrow at 1 p.m. Gonna capitalize, laying down the foundation tonight. More with more WNBA. Yeah, man, you got to make that money. Okay, you got to stop being nice and make that money. Cause all them white boys and these kind of Johnny come latelys that have no idea what the fuck they talking about as far as basketball and sports. Okay, they're making money hand over fist. I remember this one lady, and she used to be a female basketball coach, right? She started off with 7,000. She's over 50,000 now. Okay, by jumping on the Caitlin Clark bandwagon. Okay, make this money. Is it inevitable for Wise Harmony OS to outperform Windows? What was Trump thinking? It's not inevitable, but thing is, they're running out of options. Okay, they're trying to slow China down as best they can. It's not going to do any good. So, BGS, why is some white folks acting surprised at the rise of China? They really thought they will be on top forever. Was it ego? Okay, it is ego. Okay, thing is, it's ego, and it's built into for 500 years they've been on top. Okay, for 500 years they've been building this, and to think that you're going to lose power. Okay, and what they're really afraid of is that the rest of the world's going to do to them what they did to everybody else. That's what they're really afraid of. Okay, they don't eat without the rest of the world, and they're not used to this. And basically, even in the United States, you're afraid of you losing your lifestyle. Okay, you don't want to be. I mean, you want to shed a tear for the rest of the world if they're a third world country, right? You don't want to be a third world country, do you? Do I plan my days out? No, I do not. I wish I did. Since this big beautiful bill is exploding, the debt can we with all the austerity rhetoric from Doge, Trump, and other Republicans? Is it just one big lie? Do you see another chess move that's not obvious? The thing is, okay, they know what they got to do. They know they got to make cuts. Okay, will this bill get enacted? I don't know. Okay, because there's too many Medicare cuts and other kind of cuts that are most even your Republicans are actually allergic to. So f- we have to see what happens if it does pass, because there's a lot of things in it that um, there's a lot of things in it that will actually make things worse. Okay, if you don't uh, uh, actually implement some things, like you're going to have to handle Medicare, right? You're going to have to automate medicine. You have no choice, okay? And maybe he's trying to force the United States and Congress to actually crack down and actually start reducing costs instead of allowing the pharmaceuticals and all these other corporate people to make all this money, okay? Maybe they will, maybe they won't, okay? And Trump doesn't mind being a bad guy. So it's all because instead of helping him correct the situation, they're making it worse. Any books you would recommend on Gnosticism, like in reading the Gnostic, but any there's tons of books. Okay, if okay, um, what's his name? Okay, out of he actually he wrote the book misquoting Jesus. Okay, there's tons of them, man. I can't name one. Okay, the first book I always recommend is the origin and evolution of religion by Albert Churchward. Okay, because he lays out all the symbols. Okay, all that stuff is symbolic. Okay, even down to the cross, what it means. The cross means something. Okay, okay. Communion means something, but things we don't know where it came from. That's the first book I always recommend to people. Okay, get through that, and then you can go to Egypt, Light of the World. There's 33 crucified saviors. There's a lot of different things you guys can get into. But the thing is, the first book I would actually start with to make it all make sense is Churchward's book. Go to Albert Churchward, the origin and evolution of religion. Okay, you see, because all the symbols are basically the same. Okay. WNBA is a good example of how it's harder to defend us. I said, do you remember the bag? How they fumbled in the bag? Yeah. The thing is that the WNBA is doubling down on this woke shit, man. How do you deal with insecure men who are intimidated by men who keeps themselves and is good with women? I don't understand the question. Count Siku, what's going on? Does your identity determines your economic situation? Oh, I don't understand that question either. No, it doesn't really. It affects it, but it doesn't determine it. What do you think the political goal of the black fatigue narrative is? Um, One, I think, is to It's basically it basically break up the cooperation between blacks and whites and cause a division. And secondly, I think it's so that black people can paint themselves as victims. What are your thoughts on the White House and Harvard? Okay, he got a beef against Harvard. Harvard did. I think it comes down to. I think really what it comes down to is the anti-Israeli stance that Harvard is taking. I think that's what it comes down to. Your view on the five most nutritious fishes out there. Now that's a good question. I have no clue. Okay, I have no clue. I'm not a fish expert, so I have no clue. Dusty Jones, what's up? Little boss. China took away the passport of gene editing science to punish him. They're trying to stop humanity 2.0. They're not trying to stop it. The thing is not. Basically, it's not. They don't want it out yet. They're still experimenting, but they don't want it public. So in most cases, the white women media they try to run to help or protect black women, they plan to use that victimhood for another diabolical purpose. It's not diabolical. Basically, they've been using them forever. Okay, uh, they need moral cover for the shit that they do. Since we're talking about Angel, what about Angel Fernandez, a 6'7" basketball player, volleyball player, model? Uh, what about her? Frozen order: U.S. economy gets too bad. Will who? PB be safe? What is PB? I don't know what PB is. Kidnapping boys from tribe, turning them and out and sending them back. Oh, okay, that's the book. Okay. What white men will whatever men, European men have an obsession with, especially boys. I didn't see it, but I gave my takeaway. Basically, it's clout. Okay, that's the only reason that Rem Foster would get involved with this circus. Okay, he wants to be recognized. You think all or nothing competitiveness of South of Korea is a good template? Turns out they're the most depressed country. Um, well, the thing is, in 1950, we're all on farms, and basically they're basically have plowing fields with cattle. So it's helped them. What do you think about Burkina Faso with Russia's help? Okay, it's part of the plan of the BRICS to uh, basically claim Africa as their own. So USA is officially done with mashing on Yemen and the Houthis, or is it more of the same double speak? No, the carriers got hit. That's why they backed out of it. Okay. And what's up, John Hall? Appreciate you. That's why it's being forever out. That is the way, right? It's the only way now. After you leave the U.S., we can have the Black Magistrate Conclave. I heard that. Okay, are you out? Okay. Hey, the thing is, I was looking at the referees for the game, Fever versus Atlanta, man, and uh, and basically they weren't going to stop it until Caitlin Clark almost got into the fight. Okay. Okay, and then right after that, they started making proper calls. You can't play defense when holding somebody 94 feet. Okay, I don't care what area you're in. You can't play defense like that. Okay, when I was coming, even though the handshake era, you can't put your hands on people like that. And it wasn't like they were in traffic. It wasn't like they were in the corner. They was right out front. Okay, and they allowed it. So that kind of shit causes fights. So I hope they have learned to I hope they start calling better games. Okay. So the role of slippery slope is terms of being too political and regulated for something new. I don't understand. Um, Appreciate these past weeks of videos. I was recently accepted. Oh, okay, a master's business analytics program. Okay, cool, cool. Well then, you need to follow Mark Besant's since he's out front because Mark Besant is a shadowy figure. He actually collapsed currencies in two separate campaigns, so he knows his way around economics and money. So follow him, okay? He's a shadowy figure. He's black pilled to the gills. He's a Soros accolade. He's probably the next Soros. So follow him and study what he does, especially during these tariffs, because these tariffs are actually uncovering a whole bunch of shit. Okay? If you want to learn about business, it's time to learn it because they're uncovering all this crap. Okay? Do you follow Mike Benz? Nope. And his cover that's operation, his deconstruction of Intel, HC, the blob. No, I don't. WNBA is in everybody's mouth. That's the point. They're winning. Yeah. No, not really. Okay. Not really. Because that stuff is going to start to backfire. If propaganda, yep. If the U.S. world economy gets too bad, it will be, passport where it be safe. It might be your only out. The thing is, the earlier you do it, the better off you are. Be just what is the select versus non-select men? Real quickly is select men is the men that women prefer. Okay, looks, money, status. Okay, those are select men. Okay, your high value men are select men. Okay, your chads, as they say, are select men. Those are the ones that most women want. Those are select. The non-selects are the ones that most women are invisible to most women unless you do something to break out of it. Okay. How do you think the local reputation-backed currency or local labor-backed currency would work? I don't know. I don't know what you mean. Is there any question or tactical observation that you could recommend to determine if your woman is on your program? Depending on what your program is. Only you can determine if your woman's on your program. Okay. Uh, uh, the best way to do is give her a job. Okay. Ask her to do something for you. So I'm still convinced a lot of men in here in this space are not used to dealing with women and their behavior. I think they are, okay, but I think they're still wedded to that idea that fairy tales like women are. What's up, Gundam? Luther? Is there any discussion of humanity 2.0 past the patron? There's tons of it. You just have to look. If you look if you look at genetics, okay, there's tons of it out there. I don't have any knowledge on filing patents. Nope, that's not my lane. Okay. Do Hindu women in California date black men? In California, Hindu women, yeah, if they can stick it past their husbands, yeah. If they go to school with them, yeah. It depends on where you go to school. It's more of a class thing, and less about a color thing. How do white conservatives in the U.S. expect to boost white population numbers if cutting government benefits and cutting federal jobs affect white folks' desire to make a family? Okay, cutting benefits, cutting jobs probably will increase families because they needed the families to survive. Okay, so white women are not gonna stay out there by themselves. They're not. They're gonna find them a man and have a family. I don't know the percentage of black and white in the WNBA, but the Angel Reese pedest, uh, pedestaling a dupe of all black women to keep the talent line for basketball coming and linking her to C. Clark. The WNBA is playing a race car. Yeah, they're trying to make money. It's basically what gets eyeballs. Okay, the WNBA doesn't get eyeballs. The thing is, they need drama because women don't follow basketball. What do they follow? Okay, there's two things that women love. Okay, clothes, fashion, and drama. Okay, clothes. What do the Kardashians give you? They give you clothes and drama. That's why they make all that money. I said I got a question. What is? Oh, um, to make money because the money rate started that sterling was weak. Okay, and I think how much did Soros make? Soros made what? Just on that move, with 92. Got to remember, this is 92. Soros made like 15, like $20 billion off that move. That's why it's about money. Would you consider yourself a select man in your lifetime? At one time, at one time when I was younger. Do you see white men and white women maneuvering black women into being the fall guy for the excesses of feminism? No. Okay, that's over. Okay, white women did is because they needed to cover up their reason for DEI. Okay, I have the book Scott Besson, The Quiet Force Behind Global Finance on my desk. Looking forward to being one uh, of the decade later saving it, as the BGS called it. What I'm saying is you have to. I'm just telling you guys the stuff that I discovered. I didn't know he was behind the crisis because I had never really heard of the guy, before he became a secretary. And the Chinese guy said he was the one. He was um, he was actually the front guy for the Asian currency crisis, even though he was actually the main brains behind it. Which is why Trump tapped him for this because his main adversary is China. WWE is not using Case and Clark to their advantage. They're giving into, like you said, wokeness and black men's feelings because right now that's what sells. Okay. Do I consider myself? I'm too old to be a select man. Okay. What tips would you give to us non-select men? Okay. Basically, Kevin, if you go back to Kevin's archives before 2020, he gave you all kind of tips. Okay. Get yourself in shape. Okay. Raise your status. Okay. Uh, Basically learn about esoterically learn about female nature. Okay, there's a lot of different things that make yourself raise your status with women. Okay, uh, physically there's only so much you can do with your physical, but the way you dress, the way you smell, the way you talk, all that kind of stuff, raise your status. The kind of job that you have. Okay, raise your status. There's a lot of ways to raise your status if you're a man. Could black people find a home and success in China, or is it too racist and requires too much work? Um, as in a large group, no. Okay, in smaller pockets, yes. China, is very insular. Let's put it that way. Okay, but the thing is, Africans are there. But the thing is, it's just like any place else. Okay, you're a stranger. Chronic Jones, where can I find the video of those Asian girls that sounded like they were from the middle of Louisiana? That is a damn good question. Okay, I got to go back and look for it myself. It was funny as hell. It was actually TikTok. So um, I don't even know where I got it. I got to go back and look for it. I said, thank you for your recommendation on the creating Mandela to connect with my anima. I'm starting to see positive results and becoming less rigid in my thinking. You know what? The thing is, I learned it from. If you really want to know more about it, okay, go to go read Jung's Red Book, where he really talks about it, okay, and how he had to go through it and the crisis he actually went through to actually break himself out of it. That's because that's how he did it. So I'm just telling you how he did it, okay, and his results. So all we're doing is replicating the results of the man that created this shit, okay. That's all we're doing. I said, who was it you said that collapsed? Oh, it was Scott Bessent. Is it Yeah, Scott Bessent. Yeah. Your Treasury Secretary right now. We just should they lower the rims in WNBA so women could dunk and make. They should, but it's not gonna happen because women are hard headed, especially black women, because because black women want to think that they're black men. That's why they don't do it. Fragrance is one way. Okay, there he is. Okay, ZPT himself. Okay, I mean the thing is, uh, and what Rom said, because Rom came up with select and non-select. Okay, the thing is, you're not selecting every group. Okay, you got to find the tribe of women that you select with. Okay, if really if you're short, okay, and you can't be select, say if you're 5'5", right, okay, and you're not select in the United States because the average height is 5'9", 5'10", right, okay, you got to get up your game, get the fuck out of this country, and go to a country where all the women are 4'9" or 4'10" or 4'11", where the average height is 5'4". Put yourself in an environment where you are select. Okay, it's a big world out there. Okay, if you stay in this little pocket, then no. Okay, you won't be select. So you have to put yourself in an environment where you are. You got to put yourself in an environment to succeed. Scent is very big part of it. If you look it up, there's tons of books on it. He's a classic economic hitman. Yep, he is. I'm considering the shit the Chinese men say about Chinese women. I wouldn't recommend it. The reason they say this shit about Chinese women is because they're not acting like traditional Chinese women. They're acting more like modern women. Okay. So the shit that Chinese women do to Chinese men is nothing compared to what black women do to us. But the thing is, they're not acting traditionally like Chinese women. So that's why. Do you think P Diddy will be found innocent or guilty? I have no clue. Probably guilty, man. They can't let him go. We just I'm proud to be the one of few men in history who will say that you're actually wrong. Okay, you said Commanders wouldn't make the playoffs. Oh, that's true. I was wrong. Okay, I was very wrong. But since I don't follow football anymore, um, I can be forgiven. My apologies. I said accesses instead of excesses, but you understood what I was asking anyway. Okay. How do you think ABW will react to Trump cutting? I say they're gonna panic like they're doing now. BJ, what do you think? Why do you think men have left the church? I believe men are smarter and more aware of their lives because the church doesn't benefit them. Okay, most of the money in the black church is generated from black women. Okay, so they cater to black women. Okay, and they don't cater to men. Okay, the churches that cater to men, okay, the few that actually started catering to men, started to see their population of men grow. They know what they're doing. What if the rims are lower? You can't lower the rim, okay? Again, with pro ball players, you can go if the rim you can if you lower the rim a half inch, you'll throw your shot off. It doesn't take very much, okay? Just a half inch will throw everybody's shot off. You'll know it instantly. As soon as your first shot, you're gonna know that the rims are off. I love Chinese women; they're great. If you really want Chinese women, there's tons of leftover Chinese women that are progressive, okay, and that love black men. There's not enough of them. The red book hurts my brain, but I had you, Maggie, uh, and my grandfather. Okay, yeah. Uh, get it, get the red book on tape and listen to it. Okay, and instead of reading it, just let it flow into you. Okay, it's a narrative anyway. You could do that. Increase, but things that wouldn't help with the dunking. Asian women scare me. Why? Guatemalan women are 4'11". Yeah. Guatemalan women are tiny. They really are. They're tiny. Just downloaded the Red Book PDF. Mm, what it came down to, okay, what it came down, I didn't get all I needed was a letter from my congressman, and I didn't get it. So that's what it came down to. And I didn't have enough mentors to tell me how to go about getting a letter from my congressman, because that's all I need. Because everything else I passed, the fitness test, the aptitude test, all the other kind of shit I passed. It came down to a letter from my congressman. That's what it came down to. I'm still working on a red book myself. Okay. Yep. Uh, there's a lot of places you could go. Um, China's just one of them. In fact, there's some black pookies in China where the leftover Chinese women are actually taking care of them. Charles, if they got you a mixed Asian woman, man, look at the picture of the black Miss Japan. It's probably changed your mind. Or get you one of the little Thai, what they call Thai babies, that are mixed with black, that are like 5'7" and tall. Guatemalan pretty are very pretty and cute when they're young, and when they get old, they look like a watermelon. Probably so. What's your thoughts on small cap women for men like me? Small cap or small hat? You think black fatigue is really black women fatigue? Yeah, I think it is when black women fatigue for the most part. And I think it has to do with the political fallout between black women and white women. I think that's where it's coming from. And black men need to stand down and stay out of that shit. Personally, I know it takes time, but is it safe to say Angel did not go see Lisa Leslie? She did go see Lisa Leslie in off season. She improved for a minute, but she didn't stay with her. Many of them are just not cute. Most of them are not. Well, it depends. They're not cute to us. So your repost with SR debunking emotional intelligence was insightful. What kind of activities, hobbies you recommend for raising IQ? Uh, if you want to raise IQ, okay. There's a lot of little games that they actually developed for um, they actually trained AIs. Okay, like blocks and puzzle fitting tests. Those basically if anything to do with math, okay, mathematical reasoning, logic, probably. There's a lot of logic games that are actually you can download on your phone, right? Like playing with blocks and shapes and shit like that. And then the other part is just reading to raise your IQ. Small hat. Um, Small hats. Things if you're used, gotta remember. Um, Small hat women are bossy, okay, and you have to be accepted into the white identity, right? But the thing is, once you're in, okay, and if you're educated, she's gonna like you, okay. And since uh, their attitudes are very close to black women, you shouldn't have a problem. Small hat women are very close in attitudes to black women. My commanders are going to the playoffs for 6 years. I have one of those. My son is Thai and black. Yeah. China loves black culture, and Japan does too. Yeah, because Japanese and the Chinese have never forgiven white men for ruining their country. So that's an angst. Just like Filipinos can't stand Japanese. It's not hard to get a Chinese woman in China. They find black men very attractive and will shoot their shot. Yeah, that's true because we're exotic to them. Muhammad, full-time work school for 1.5 years, exercising 4 times a week to drop weight. Lately, I can't muster any energy to read. If I hit a wall, how do I restore to get it back at it? I'm amount of books behind. Basically, if you're working out, okay, stuff like that, call books on tape. Okay, get yourself an Audible. Um, get yourself an Audible. Okay, listen to it. Okay, fastest way is to, in fact, uh, the the reason that I have to read physical books is because I have to. You can remember the information, but things you can't recall it and find out where it was. So finding a page that you heard is impossible on an Audible book. If you just want the information, okay, or general information, get an Audible book, okay. And then if you need to break it down further, then get the physical book. The thing is just to absorb the information, get yourself an Audible book. Then you don't have to sit down and read, okay? Then you can just listen as you do other things. My wife is a medical doctor. I work with the trades. I have 2 boys under 4. I'm honestly more worried that AI will replace doctors before they replace tradesmen. I'm torn on what to teach my sons. Okay. If your wife is a doctor, okay, all she has to do upskill herself. Okay. AI is probably going to replace. They're not going to replace older doctors. What the thing is, they'll need less younger doctors. Um, so your wife should have a specialty. Okay. What area is going to hit the medical field is in number 1 is insurance and paperwork, and number 2 in a lower level nursing. That's where it's going to hit first, and then it'll work its way up. But if she's already a doctor and she's been a doctor for a while, okay, it's going to take a while to get to her. Is it going to replace doctors completely? No. Okay, but the thing is that she's going to have to learn how to use it. She's going to have to learn how to depend on it. She's going to have to find herself a specialty. Okay, so she can't get relaxed on the lower. She's going to have to keep learning. You have to keep learning. You have to keep ahead of the bear. Said you're just like my old man, but you're just physical only. He went. No, no. Um. Actually, I actually scan my physical books because it's easier to actually to mark up a book. Okay. On a tablet, I got 4 tablets. Easier to actually mark up the book. It's easier to actually copy the information and then cut it out for people to actually see. So physical books are fine. Okay, they're okay. But the thing is, to me, it doesn't matter because, like I said, I got 4 tablets. I answered that one already, Will AR. Okay. The carriers got hit, so that's why they're backing off. It's because they know that if Yemen gets really ballsy and hits one of those carriers with hypersonic, it's going to be World War III. So that's why everybody backed off. It's over, right? Most of them are irredeemable at this point. Look at my daughter and weep because of how much harder black women reckon their ethnic image will make it on her. Yeah, well, um, she'll have to learn how to compete because when black women are not used to competing for their men, she'll have to learn how to compete, and she's gonna learn how to bring value to her men. That's all. Everybody else is basically how does Spock say it? How does he say it? Okay. What does Spock say?
Sauce for the goose, Mr. Savick. The odds will be even.
Level playing field. Okay. Uh, uh, Teach your daughters how to bring value to their men. Find out what the men, whatever men that they choose. Okay. How to bring value to their men. Why do you think white girls win? White girls are not winning because of looks. They're winning is because they're willing to work with their men, and black women are not. It's the only reason. Okay. There's men all over the planet. If your girls are educated and they bring value to their men, they'll get snapped up. I mark my book. It helps, but consistency is even better. Yeah. Uh, the thing is, is that um, uh, I don't see that big a difference between physical books and electronic books. Okay. I guess they both have their um, I guess they both have their medium. The thing is, if you're just reading, okay, to me it doesn't make a big difference. And one thing you can do to actually, if you really want to, I did this with my grandson. If you really want to uh, have the material uh, actually more actually absorb the material easier, listen to an audible book and read it at the same time. Okay, have the audible narrate the book to you. Okay, I put it on 1.5 speed and have it narrate to you. They'll actually absorb it a lot faster. If you read it, mark it up, and listen to it at the same time, you'll absorb it a lot faster. So in other words, for most books, you'll get through the book in like 6 hours, and you'll remember a lot more of the book. I, you the thing is, if you don't have time to read physical books, what do? What's the next best option? What's the next option? And plus, if you listen to the book, it'll actually take your mind off of all the other shit that's going on around you. Are they learning how to play chess? No, they're not. I'm not a good chess player. Okay, and the thing is, hell, man, I'm trying to just get them to be able to read, write, and do arithmetic, and that's a chore in itself with their women, with the women out there. Yeah, Audible is clutch, man. Audible is clutch. I would say first try to see if your book is on YouTube first, and then if there's not, find Audible. Are software engineers being phased out by AI? Some of them are. Rocky Balboa or Mike Tyson. They're almost the same kind. Probably Tyson. They're almost the same kind of same kind of person. I thought I was the only one that would have the audio book and read the book at the same time. It depends. Get a tablet with Audible and Kindle. Yeah, it basically, um, always pause and highlight your book. Kindle will actually read even um, a text-based book out. Okay, if you don't have any other option, the text will actually be read out with a, and I think the AIs are actually getting better, so the voice is actually getting better. Um, but the thing is, it's not the same as a human reading it, but it'll do. Men and women are proud to be overweight and insufferable. I don't, you know, I actually don't get them. Okay, Muhammad Ali will be Apollo Creed. He's bigger. Um, I don't. I'm not really sure why black women do this. I think they want people to feel sorry for them, so they do all the stuff that's necessary for people to feel sorry for them. Because, like I said, that statue, the sad part of that statue is it's actually it looks like most black women. That's the sad part. Most black women actually look like that statue. And I think that was offensive to some black women, is because it does look like them. Ray Stone says, BGS, who has the name or individual you mentioned earlier about being a... Oh, Scott Bessent. Scott Bessent. He doesn't have a... I didn't catch the name or the channel. It's not a channel name, okay? He's your Treasury Secretary. Um, uh, if you want to learn more about this kind of stuff, really, uh, look up Jack Rasmus. I actually played some of his stuff on my Dark News. Rasmus. Okay, Jack Rasmus. He actually talks about this kind of stuff. He actually describes the whole dollar system and what it depends on. So he actually did it. I'd actually put it up maybe about a couple of weeks ago. If you listen to that, he actually talks about it. What would black women today be rated if they traveled back in time to the 1970s? Fat. They'd be rating like fours. You'd be rated by fours, and all the grandmothers be fussing about losing weight. Yeah, when I knew it was over when a lot of black women started wearing what they call a fat kini, because they wanted to wear a bikini, but they had the big ass stomach, so they actually put more material on the was it what we call a bikini or a swimsuit. Okay, call them fat kinis. I knew it was over then. They didn't want to lose weight. I said, "Do you? When are we going to see the $1.07 coffee girls?" I don't know, man. I hope it doesn't get that low. And that is something to think about. Black women, are offended by the statue because it does look like them. It speaks about, yeah, they know it looks like them. They've even said it looks like them. BGS can an in shape man in his late 30s make a serious run for a boxing championship in his weight class if you have enough of the skill. I forget what his name. He got out of prison and he was in his 40s and became a champion. If you have enough skill, there's nothing to stop you. If you have enough skill, but do you have the skill? If you in your 30s, how come you didn't do it in your teens and 20s if you had that skill? Anything possible if you had the skill. Yeah, Bernard Hopkins did it. Yeah, I think he was in his late 30s or 40s when he actually became champion. Any recommendations on independent news, domestic? I always look at Jamal. Sabby Sabs is good. Okay. Jamal Thomas is good. Um, Tim Black is actually fairly good. Okay, about domestic news. Uh, uh there's general political news. There's a bunch of them, but thing is that there's all kinds of alternative voices. Thing is finding out which ones that you're interested in. That's tougher because Pacifica's one, but they're really left leaning, um, and they all have a slant. The thing is, you got to figure out what their slant's going to be, and don't depend on just one of them. But there's all kinds of people. My suggestion would be listen, just watch C-SPAN every day, okay? Because they have no bias. By law they can't have a bias, so they just present the news to you. They get opinions of people. They put the people on. You have to judge for yourself. So best domestic news site I would say would be C-SPAN, which is free. How would I be able to tell if I come off as a smart, magical guy in a white business setting if they start asking you dumbass questions? Okay, then they're trying to pick your brain. They'll be really obvious because they think you're going to get away. If you ever get a white guy and you're talking to him and they want to buy you a cup of coffee or you're getting ready to walk out and they ask you for one more question and you know you got them. Do I think more advanced sex robbers would be serious competition to women? Do you think they would ban them to protect women monopoly on sex? No, they wouldn't. The government really doesn't care about women. What they care about is babies. Okay, and once the artificial womb comes, they'll give them a good excuse to actually come out with the artificial womb. They don't care about the women. They care about babies. They don't care about protecting women. They care about protecting families to produce children. Did I get? What are all these dumbass questions, man? Okay. Anyhow, let me get out of here, man. Did I get into fights when I was young and did I win? I got into fights, man. You know, and most fights there wasn't a clear winner or loser. AI will only be a threat to your career if you are incompetent already. Basically, if your job can be outsourced to India, AI will be able to do it within the next 4 years. Just up your skills. Yeah, I think the thing is why reading is a superpower now is because most people do not and cannot read properly. Okay. So your analytical skills are way at the bottom, and they're trying to reskill people back up to where they used to be. So you're ahead of the slowest campers. Stay ahead of the slowest camper. Anyhow, let me get out of here. You think our own currency? No. Nope, because you don't have nothing to back it. What are you going to back it with? Your view on the NBA has become too soft. We have over 3 players that are not American winning. We basically you've adapted to the European game. That's what you adapted to. We'll see, Zavi. Okay, we'll see. Anyhow, let me get out of here. Let's see.
And with that, I just have 2 more words to say. Obama out.
Muzyka Denis Siedem.